Welcome back to our 33rd episode of the Launch Your Farm Show, where I interview Karin Carr with Keller Williams in Savannah, Georgia. In this episode, Karin and I talk about why clients call her and are ready to work with her before they've even met her, all because of her videos. Karin shares how she failed the first year after she moved and just about quit the business, but then she found video. And we talk about what you can do to create consistent content that resonates with your audience that they're going to love. Karin shares a super easy way to create videos based on what people are actually searching for. And we talk about how agents can use video to build their business to succeed, even if you have zero experience in the business or making videos. Plus, we talk about a ton of other ideas that you can use to grow your geographic farm. So be sure to check out this episode, like and subscribe, and enjoy the episode with Karin. Thanks for joining us on another episode of the Launch Your Farm Show. I'm your host, Ryan Smith, and today we've got a great guest. It's Karin Carr from Savannah, Georgia. So Karin, take a second, tell us a bit about yourself and why you're here.
Absolutely. My name is Karin Carr. I am the founder and CEO of the Georgia Coast Homes team with Keller Williams Coastal Area Partners here in Savannah. I have been a licensed realtor since 2005, but I started in Northern California. And after our second child was born, we decided we wanted to move to the Savannah area to be closer to family because we were all the way on the West Coast and all of our family was on the East Coast. And, no grandparents only getting to see their grandkids once or twice a year. It was breaking their heart. We didn't have anybody around to help when, we needed babysitters, and said, let's just move back east. So my husband found a job in Hilton Head, which is right across the border from Savannah. We just bit the bullet and moved cross country.
Nice.
And I had no idea how hard it was going to be to start my business over again, not only in a new market, but like literally 3,000 miles away.
Yeah.
So then after a year, we moved again. We moved to Atlanta. And then after 2.5 years, we moved to Savannah. So within the space of 4 years, we moved 3 times to a completely different market where I had to get licensed in another state. And boy, I tried all of the tricks to find business. And then I finally landed on something that worked the best of anything I have ever tried. I went all in on that and it's working like gangbusters. And so I went from being brand new in my market in June of 2017 to having a team of 5 people, soon to be 6 now. And so it's been awesome. And it's all about farming and niches and all the stuff we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, that's all. I'm very similar. I've moved 3 times in my career, completely different areas. And yeah, it's tough to really get that restart. Yes. And when you don't know anyone, you're rebuilding from scratch. It can be daunting. It can be overwhelming. And for a lot of agents, I find they give up or they don't succeed as quickly as they can. So what was it for you that helped you make you see that magic?
It was
magic pill. So
it was YouTube. So when I got to Atlanta, I had failed so dismally in Hilton Head. I didn't sell a single home the whole year that we lived there.
Wow.
And that was very embarrassing for me because I'd been a pretty big producer in my market in California. So we get to Hilton Head. I take some time off to get my daughter settled in school. I have to get licensed. I have to find a brokerage to join. And then I started working and I did not sell a house in the 6 months that I was with that brokerage, which was really, really embarrassing. And then when we moved to Atlanta, I told a girlfriend, like, I seriously don't think I'm going to do this anymore. It's just too hard. I don't have it in me to start over yet again. I'm in my mid 40s now. I'm just going to go back to corporate America. And she basically would not let me quit. So I started going, okay, what can I possibly do to get business? Because I do not enjoy cold calling and I can't call my sphere because I don't have one. I'm brand new here. All I can do is like door knock and cold prospecting, which I tried. I honestly gave it the old college try. I just did not enjoy it and said, this is for the birds. Like, I don't want to call FSBOs and have them basically tell me I'm the scourge of Satan and just hang up on me. So I started making videos. I thought it would be for brand awareness, just to get my name out there, to have people maybe find me online and start to realize that I even existed. And maybe if they followed my content, I would at least get a foot in the door.
Yep.
But what happened was they called and said, we've watched all of your videos. We feel like we know you already. We're ready to hire you on the spot. We're not even going to talk to anybody else. Like, send me an agreement and I'll sign it right now, which floored me because I seriously thought, I just thought it would help me be one of the many agents they're going to be interviewing. I didn't think that it would be, they just chose me after seeing my videos online.
Yep.
So the very first lead I got in Atlanta was a buyer. And then when we moved to Savannah and I said, okay, I'm going to do this religiously. I'm going to make one video a week. That's it. One video a week, but I'm going to do it every single week. I'm going to give it 6 months and just see what happens. I got to come list me. That was my very, very first call. And I didn't know that that's what it was until I went to the appointment and I did my whole song and dance, my awesome PowerPoint presentation. And then I said, who else are you interviewing? And they said, nobody, we picked you.
That's
And the
awesome.
next call was like that too. It was like, I got to pinch myself. I can't even believe that this is really happening. In fact, that one was funny because he said, we're going to interview 3 different agents and we'll let you know. And I said, okay, no problem. I'm not going to pressure you. I was not a mile away when they called and said, oh, who are we kidding? We're picking you.
That's
So
awesome.
they just canceled the appointments with the other 2 people.
Yeah.
I think they just wanted to discuss it in private when I was not in the room.
Yeah.
And then they said, yeah, we're just going to hire you right now. We like you. Can you just turn around and come back? And so that's the quality of the lead that I get from YouTube. Not only are they loyal to you, they are usually ready, willing, and able. I mean, they may not be ready to do a transaction right now. They might be 12 months down the road. I got a call this morning from a guy in Massachusetts that said, I'm going to move to Savannah. It's not going to be till next year, but I want you to know that I am a loyal viewer. I watch all of your videos. I was on your live stream last week. I was the one in the chat asking all the questions about snow and stuff like that. I am going to come to town in March. I would love to just meet you and take you to coffee so that when the time comes, you know who I am. I'm like,
Yeah.
clients that want to take you to coffee when they come
Yeah.
to town, like that had never happened before YouTube.
Yeah, that's great. And the great thing is, like you said, it builds that trust, and you don't have to do the song and dance. You can build that trust once. I mean, so you record the video once, and then you can use it over and over again. That the videos are, if you do it right, can be evergreen, and you're not having to speak to a bunch of different people. You can do it once and then record it, and that's where the value, in my opinion, of video is you're leveraging your time and you're leveraging your knowledge and not having to do it for every single person, which is fantastic.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm sure you would agree that it is a great use of your time. Like if you're door knocking a neighborhood, you can walk around and knock on 50 doors. And if you're lucky, you'll have 5 conversations. But as soon as you get in your car and drive away, that's it. You're done. You're not doing any more prospecting. It was limited to the time that you actually spent doing it. But you make a video that's out there for years. It's like that video is prospecting for you 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. We're getting leads from videos we made in 2017,
Yeah.
and it just never stops. So the evergreen content just keeps, so really like a 4 or 5 hour investment of time is bringing you leads years down the road. It is such a good use of your time.
And I think you mentioned the consistency is really important. And
Yeah.
if you do it right, it compounds. I started years ago with my mortgage broker. We started doing videos. Really, no one was even doing them. We had a flip cam and we shot some videos, and we did it for a while, and we got some results. But we've had more views on those videos since we've stopped doing them than we have. And if we would have continued creating those videos, that consistency just keeps compounding. And I'm sure you're seeing that now after a number of years. You're probably going back to seeing videos you shot, and the video counts just keep skyrocketing on each one of those because people keep going back and they find it, and it helps elevate the trust.
Yep. They might find the video that you recorded last week, but
Yep.
then they go, oh, I like this video. I should see what else this person has done. And then they look at your channel and go, holy crap, you've got 200 videos on here. And they start watching some of the other ones.
Yeah.
And so the newer ones help drive traffic to the older ones,
Exactly.
and the older ones help drive traffic to the newer ones.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I want to talk about strategy, because for a lot of agents, that's where I find they struggle. And you teach this stuff, so you probably know a lot better than I do. But I find a lot of agents struggle on, what do I come up with? How often should I do it? Why would someone want to see me? So if someone's getting started, what, like from a strategy standpoint, what's the best starting point for an agent to jump into video?
It's not all about the house. It's about you and what you bring to the table and showcasing your personality and your expertise. So it doesn't mean that you need to be an actress or an actor. You don't have to be this phenomenal agent driving up in the Lamborghini in your $3,000 suit, being, super slick. that's not really what they want. They want somebody that's very relatable, that they
Yeah.
feel like is trustworthy, that they like your personality, because they don't do business with you if they don't like you.
Yep.
So, but it's not all about the house, because that's not evergreen content. So if you're saying, here I am at this open house and look how pretty it is, and it sells a week later, then when they stumble across this video a year from now, it's totally irrelevant. And they're not searching for the street address online, because they don't even know that that house is for sale,
Exactly.
and they don't know what the street address of it is. So instead of focusing on the house, what if you focus on the neighborhood, the subdivision, the community? So one of my buyer's agents said, I really want to break into a more luxury market. How can I do that? And I said, well, why don't you start making more video tours of neighborhoods that have a higher price point rather than the starter home neighborhoods? So she went over to this beautiful gated community where the houses start. You're going to laugh because you're in the Toronto area. So I'm sure your median price is like $1 million. Our median price is about 310. So she went to this neighborhood where the prices started at 400 and went up to about 800,
Yeah.
and just drove around the neighborhood literally with a suction cup mount on her dashboard with her iPhone pointing out through the
Mm.
windshield. Just make sure you clean your windshield before you start filming.
Yeah.
So she has the camera on her first, and it's like, hey, today we're going to go take a tour of Waterways. Waterways is a beautiful gated community in Richmond Hill, and it's known for X, Y, and Z. Let's go take a look. So then she turns the phone around. She's just driving through the neighborhood. And when she gets back to her computer and she uploads the footage, she does a voiceover. So she's now narrating what it was that we were looking
Right.
at. Over here is the golf course, over here is the boat launch, over here is the rec center, etc. And then she wraps it up with the camera back on her again. If you'd like to learn more about Waterways, click the link below. We've got this awesome free resource for you. So it's very non-salesy. It's
Mhm.
not like, call me, call me, call me. I'd love to represent you. You need an agent. Let me be the agent. It's not all about us. It's about what information can we give to the viewer. And by not making it a giant sales pitch,
Yep.
it works like a charm. I think that they feel that if you're not being overly salesy, they go, oh, okay, I can actually listen to what you're saying, instead of being like, oh God, another realtor who's just going to like
That's
tell me what I want to hear and blow sunshine up my skirt. They start to feel a little more receptive to it, and then they're so much more likely to reach out to us because they trust us at that point.
Yeah, and I find a lot of agents don't allow themselves to do video because they think they have to be that salesperson on there. And I tell people all the time, it's like that's the last thing people want. There's a market for that, and
Absolutely.
people, if that's the way you do it, that's great. But people want to know that they can connect with a person, that you're real and that you're genuine. And if you stumble on your words, if you're not perfectly polished, they actually would prefer that than being this Hollywood production where you're so scripted and so perfect, because people want to know that it's a genuine person on the other side of the camera. So
Right.
if it's,
Like
shouldn't
Ryan
let it stop
Serhant's
you.
videos are amazing, right?
Yeah.
If I were the average consumer just wanting to buy my first house, would I ever call him to help me? No,
Yeah.
because he's so like, he's up here and I'm down here. And, he's living in a $12 million penthouse or whatever it is that he lives in. And I'm just, little tiny peon down here. I can't relate to him. So I'm not going to feel a connection with him. I might aspire to be that someday, but I'm probably not going to reach out and ask him to represent me, because I feel like my business is so small, he wouldn't really want it. But if you just seem like somebody I could go to coffee with, and when you said, if I trip over my words, they actually prefer that. One of my best performing videos, I actually fell down in my driveway and we
That's
left it
awesome.
in the video,
That's
and
awesome.
people love that. They're like,
Yeah.
oh my, you totally biffed it. It was
Yeah.
so bad. Did it hurt? I mean, they think it's hilarious that I left it in the video. And I love that they have a sense of humor about it and they find it funny, and that they want to hire me because I fell down in a video.
Yeah. And that, exactly. People are real people. And I think a lot of agents try to put on this facade that we're these larger than life people. And the average real estate agent is a normal person
Right.
living a normal life. And people want to know that we're normal people, and that most people don't, most people think that, or sorry, most people know that, see, I'm stumbling on my own words. We'll leave it in. Most people know we're not multi-million dollar, we're not Ryan Serhant, we're not the guys from the show or Selling Sunset. So they want to work with people that are similar to them. So if you're in the age range or price bracket, they want to know that you're a normal person. and that you're going to be able to connect with them.
You know, I love that you said that because that really is the biggest benefit to YouTube that I never stopped to consider before I started making videos. But you attract what you are. The personality that you put out on camera is what you attract back. So I attract people that are down to earth, that have a good sense of humor. I rarely get people that are very uppity and snooty and uptight. Like, I don't wear suits in my videos. I'm usually wearing a sundress and flip-flops or like sleeveless shirts and crop pants because we live in a tropical area. And so that's just how I show up on camera. And so that's what draws people to me. So you almost have to be yourself on camera because that if you're not, if they call you and then you meet them in real life, they're going to go, oh, you're not at all like what I thought you were going to be like. And that's not a compliment. That's not what we want to have happen. We want them to say, I just love watching your videos because you're just so relatable. And the reason that is because you're truly being yourself. So don't feel like you need to be someone else on camera and that you need to be overly polished. You don't. You just need to be you.
Yeah.
And that's what they will like about you.
Exactly. Yeah, my friend Michael Creesa said that. He said that be yourself. He said because if they meet you in person, he said you're going to be who you are anyway. So if they don't like you on camera, they're not going to like you in person. So don't be someone that you're not. Be who you are. People will either like you or they're not. And there's something to be said about turning away people or turning off people that you don't want to work with that aren't going to connect with you. And for me, like you said, I like to work with people that I connect with. For me, it's younger families. I really do well with people in their 30s, young families moving up to the next home. That's an exciting time frame. I sell homes to all age brackets, but senior citizens for me is harder for me to resonate with and relate with. And I don't gear my content to an elder market because it's just there's different interests and things like that. So I end up attracting people who are similar to myself when it comes to age and price point and things like that. So yeah, it's important to create content for the people you want to work with, but also you don't have to create content for one specific thing. You can create more broad, but just be yourself. I think that's really the important thing is be who you are.
Yep. I mean, I do advocate having a niche. So if you want to work with move up buyers, people who have like they live in a condo and now they've gotten married and they've had a couple of kids and they've outgrown it and they want to buy a house in the suburbs. If you make content speaking directly to that person, you're going to get a lot of leads from that. Now, that doesn't mean you're never going to get any other kind of leads.
Exactly.
You might still get empty nesters who are downsizing and that's totally fine, but you are going to get more of the people you are actively seeking out based on the content that you're making. If I make a ton of videos about how to buy your first house, I'm not going to attract a 70-year-old man who is selling his house because he wants to go live in a single story condo, because that's not the information that he's looking for. But it definitely helps your marketing message. I mean, there's something like 400 hours of video are uploaded every minute to YouTube. It's insane. So how do you get your videos found? You really have to have a laser focused marketing message so that the right person hears that message when they're out there looking for it. And that's another reason why I love YouTube over social media is it's a search engine and that evergreen content performs extremely well on YouTube.
I don't know. Do you know Ian Watt? Have you ever heard of Ian Watt?
I've heard his name, but I don't know him.
So he's in Vancouver. I interviewed him years ago on my show, and he does condos, and he started doing videos. He did small videos in his car, similar, and he would talk about all the things about life in condos. Because he said people were asking me questions, and I'd have to answer the same questions over and over and over again. So he said, I'll just shoot some videos. And then he started doing that, and it took off. And he literally top 1% of agents in Vancouver, and he sold 2 detached houses in his life. And he said it was all from his condos because he created these videos and created content where people wanted to know the information. They were looking for the information. Like you said, it's a search engine. So they would end up finding him. And then they know that he does condos, and then they know they can trust him. He's got a whole library of information that's out there. And he just built like a cult following and has an incredible business because he was so focused. And when you do the focused videos, I think you'll get way more in the long run. Just like farming, when you stay focused, it's much better for you in the long run. But people are afraid.
Agreed. And I think that you make more money that way too, because who makes more money, a brain surgeon or the general practitioner who just does everything for everybody in the whole family? It's like the person that really refines their knowledge and their craft, and they focus on one specific thing and they do the heck out of it really, really well. those people do better than the person that says, I will sell you any kind of property in the entire area that I
Yeah,
service for any reason. Well, yeah, I mean, you'll still get business that way, but you'll probably get more business if you specialize.
yeah, exactly. I think when it comes to farms, I think there's then within that, there's sub farms that you can then work in different avenues. And I think for me, it's always been there's two different areas you can focus on when it comes to videos is you can focus on content for the people already living there. And then you can focus on content for people who would be moving into that area. And some people do, I find, do well with one or the other, but sometimes don't master both. And I think you need to have both types of content. So how do you engage the existing community that's already living there? How do you build the trust with them for the people to get the listing side of things? And then how do you attract people from out of the area? And I think it also depends on what area you're in. Like for us, I'm outside of Toronto. A lot of people are moving out from the city coming here. So we want to gear our content to people moving from the city to find out why Hamilton's a good area or these neighborhoods are a good area. Do you have any ideas or strategies on what agents can do to elevate either of those styles?
Yeah, absolutely. So our channel is based on people that are relocating to
Perfect.
Savannah. When we first created the channel, I said I'm going to go after military buyers who are
Yep.
moving to Savannah because they're going to be stationed at Hunter Army Airfield. So it's
Yes.
extremely specific.
Yep.
They're buyers, they're in the military, and they live outside of the area now. They're going to be coming in here blind. So we were making all kinds of content of what do you need to know if you're moving to Savannah and you know nothing about it. If you've never
Yeah.
been here before, where do you live? How much does it cost? We talked about, VA loans and would the BAH cover your mortgage payment and what is the funding fee and how much do I need for closing costs and all that kind of stuff. And then we realized, okay, we're getting like 90% buyer leads. So how do we get more sellers? Just like what you said, let's talk about what market conditions are. How much is it going to cost for me to hire a real estate agent to list my house? How long is it going to take? How much competition is there? Do I have to pay the buyer's closing costs? What am I expected to pay for as the seller? All those kinds of videos. So you really just need to sit down and think, okay, as long as you're not a brand new agent, you've never done a transaction before, think
Yeah.
of the questions that you're getting asked all the time from your clients. They're asking the same questions that they're asking me and you and anybody else. They're all getting the same questions. Make a giant list of frequently asked questions and then just start figuring out, if I were to answer this question, who would I be attracting, a buyer or a seller? And how can I craft this video so that I'm giving them great information and I'm just establishing myself as the local expert so that they want to call me when the time comes.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I think starting with that questions thing is super important. I had Andrew Foliato on my show, and he said, great way to start is come up with 10 questions that you get asked mostly, and then most often, then 10 questions that people should ask you that they don't ask you. He said
Mm,
there's 20 pieces of content you can now create
yep.
and create in your basic structure there. If you do it once a week, that's 20 weeks worth of content, which is easy to get going. So
Yes.
how do you come up with the content? Because I find a lot of agents struggle with that, and I've coached a lot of agents and they say, well, I'm not creative, I don't have the ideas, or they just want to talk about listings. How are you actually getting people to craft the that type of content other than just write down the questions?
So I learned a lot about keyword research back when I first got my very first website and I was trying to write content for the website. And
Right.
keyword research is simply doing your research to find out what are people typing into the Google search bar. And if they are typing in moving to Hamilton, or how much does it cost to live in Hamilton, or how far is Hamilton from Toronto, or should I live in Hamilton versus, I don't know, another suburb of Toronto? Like, what are they actually typing
Yeah.
into the search bar? How many people are typing that into the search bar on a monthly basis? And how hard would it be for me to show up in the search results? So I have an awesome tool that I love. It's called Keywords Everywhere. It's $10 for 100,000 search credits. And if you type in, living in Hamilton, Ontario, and it says it gets 20 searches a month. You're like, well, okay, 20 is okay, but I'd love it if it were more like 300. So you just say, okay, what about cost of living in Hamilton, Ontario? Oh, that gets 100 searches a month. All right, what about Hamilton versus Toronto? Ooh, that gets 1,000 searches a month. And you're like, okay, I'm looking for the one that gets more search volume,
Yeah.
but still has fairly low competition. Because I use this joke all the time. Where's the best place to hide a dead body? On the second page of Google,
Yeah, exactly.
because nobody goes there,
Yeah.
right? So if you're not showing up on page one, no one will ever see it. So
Yeah.
you've got to go for one that is a long tail keyword, more words in it. It's not, real estate. It's
Yeah.
not homes for sale in Toronto where you're
Yeah.
going to be up against major portals like Zillow and stuff. It's got to be, homes for sale in Toronto under 300,000 with a pool or whatever it might
Yeah.
be. Like you could rank for that. You're not going to rank
Yeah.
for homes for sale in Toronto unless you're spending bank to do pay-per-click ads. So go for a keyword that you can actually rank for, that we know people are searching for online. And then you don't be salesy in your video. I try to start with a really interesting opening statement, because when we look at our analytics in a video, there's a graph of like, okay, 100% of the people were watching when they clicked on it, and how many people were still watching at the end of the video. You typically have a big drop off at the beginning, and then hopefully it's pretty level, and then they tapers off right at the very end when they know that you're wrapping up the video. But if you have this huge drop off right at the very beginning, that says, okay, I was not keeping the person's interest long enough. So what can I do instead? I will tell you, the number one killer of your video is when you start your video like this. Hey everyone, my name is Karin Carr. I'm a realtor in Savannah with Keller Williams Coastal Area Partner. And they go, I'm out. They immediately hit the back button, because all they hear is, hello, I'm an annoying salesperson. I'm going to sell you something that you really are not in the market to buy.
Yeah.
So they promptly leave the video. What if instead you said, how much does it cost to live in Hamilton? Should I live there instead of Toronto? And how long will it take me to commute every day if I'm still working in the city? All these are good questions. Let's find out.
Nice.
And then your little intro pops up with your logo. And then you say, hey, everyone, I'm Karin. I'm a realtor in Savannah or in Hamilton. And we're going to be talking about blah, 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 blah. So you introduced yourself and you said the name of your brokerage, so you're not going to get in trouble. Yeah. But you kind of glossed over it very, very quickly. You did not make that, hello, I am the realtor here to present this awesome information. You certainly do not start listing off all of your designations and how long you've been in business and how you're an award winner. And you're like, it's not the Shrine to Karin show in these videos. It is, how can I answer your questions and give you some valuable information to help you make a decision? And in return, they go, oh, this person is awesome. She's not a big salesperson trying to close me every 5 minutes.
Exactly. I always use the analogy, I compare it if I was in person at a party. If someone had that same conversation in person at a party, would I be interested in what I want to have that conversation with them? If they are just sitting there talking about how awesome they are and who they are and listing their things, I'd be like, I don't even want to talk to this person. And not only would I not pay attention.
Like, why do we do that? Why do you drive down the street and you see someone's giant mug on the billboard with their phone number, and it's like, oh, I should hire you because that's what you look like. Yeah. Like, what's in it for me as the consumer? I don't know where we get that information or that misconception that it's all about me. Like, branding is all about me all of the time. And here's a secret. Nobody cares about you. They want to know what you can do for them. Exactly. And they want to like you, of course. So that's my biggest tip. Like, never, ever, ever open the video by stating your name and who you work for, because they will just abandon that video in the first 10 seconds.
Yeah. One of the things I teach is that you should gear your marketing to be speaking with and not speaking at. And again, a lot of people push their speaking at and they just push their message out there. And you should create content and create videos and create any type of marketing that gets engagement, that gets people to want to feel like they can connect with you either directly or within the chat or whatever. And if you can create that artificial two-way conversation, it gets people engaged and they'll want to continue the conversation. If you're just pushing them saying how awesome you are, how things are, or like you said, just talking about the house, that's just pushing your message out there and it doesn't create that conversation. So what type of things are you doing in the videos then to keep people engaged other than just the content itself? Or are you doing anything?
So I'm definitely trying to do my big marketing hook at the very beginning, where I'm talking about what's in it for the viewer. What's the benefit if they watch this video? Why should they care? And why should they keep watching? And then I like, I'm a nerd when it comes to the analytics. I love to go into the analytics after the video's been up for a little while and look at how it's performing. Like, this one is killing it. Why? Yeah. What did I do? What did I say? Like, what was so different that made this video so awesome? And then conversely, you'll have a video that you're sure is going to be awesome and it totally tanks. And so you're looking at that going, like, at the 40-second mark, people are leaving in droves. By the very end of the video, only 5% of the people are still watching. What happened? And so if you just, like, you're putting out content and putting out content and putting out content, but you're never refining your technique, things are not going to change. Mm-hmm. You have to put out the content and then stand back and go, okay, how did people like it? it didn't go over so well. Okay, what could I do differently next time? Maybe I should not be so stiff. Maybe I should make a few jokes here and there.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have more to look at than just my face 100% of the time. Because, like, I'm on my webcam right now. It's super easy for me to just hit record and talk to the webcam
Yeah.
for 40 minutes straight and give them nothing to look at
Yeah.
but me with this background. But if I'm talking about how great it is to live by the ocean, wouldn't it be awesome to show the ocean while I'm talking? So have some, like, I just wait until it's a beautiful day and I don't have a ton of appointments and I just drive around and taking video. So I'll go downtown and I'll shoot, the big ships going down the river and the bridge and the ocean and the waves crashing and the historic buildings. And then I just save it in a folder. So now anytime I'm talking about downtown Savannah and I need some good footage, it's right there. It's ready for me to use. You don't have to wait until you're filming that video. You could be proactive and film it in advance. And now you have it for when you need it. Just stuff like that. Like, what can I do to keep their attention? Because we know people have such a short attention span these days. We've got to make these videos interesting enough that they will keep watching.
Yeah, that's great advice. And I think especially for people like me who's up in Canada where we have a lot changes in seasons, have video from different seasons so you can then use
Yes.
that. So you can showcase what the park's like in the summertime if it's in the dead of winter, or showcase what it's like in the winter when it's in the dead of summer. And
Mhm.
having that available is huge, especially if you're doing a farm and you don't have, it doesn't have to be a huge area. There's a lot of stuff in your area that you can showcase. Get out there and just spend a couple days and just record, take your camera, go shoot different things and just have that ready, because you never know when you're going to need that little piece of a video that you could throw in, like you said, throw in the ships, throw in the water, throw in whatever, and it definitely will make your thing a lot more easier. Which I want to go to the next question then, which ties into that, is editing, because I find a lot of agents fall off because they don't like the editing and they're terrified of it. What are you suggesting for agents to do from an editing perspective? Because I find it's a rabbit hole that you can go down and be crazy, or you can just do a couple quick cuts. So what do you suggest?
Agreed. Well, I have a Mac, so it comes free with iMovie. And when I first started making videos, I knew nothing about iMovie. So I was self-taught. I went to YouTube and I typed in iMovie for beginners and I just started learning the bare minimum.
Yeah.
So I would record my video. And then the first thing I would do is just take out all of the mistakes. And if I tripped over my words and then I started over again, I would take out the part where I messed up. And then I would be like, okay, is there any B-roll, any graphics that can pop up on the screen, any text that can show up on the screen, just to make this a little bit easier. They were very, very, very simple. It was absolutely the bare minimum that I could get away with and still have this video be fairly decent. And I did that for probably 9 months. And then I got so busy, it was like, well, this is dumb. Now I'm making a lot of money because I'm selling a lot of houses from this. What if I hired somebody to do the editing for me? And I got a virtual assistant in the Philippines who charges me $3 an hour. So now I just record the video, I upload it to Google Drive, I send her the link and say, have at it, sister. Like, you go do it.
Nice.
And because she's been with me for 2 years, she knows what I want. So I had to train her a lot at the beginning. Yes, people get very frustrated that the virtual assistant cannot read their mind and don't know immediately what they want.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you have to train them. But listen, if you're going to do your own editing, why not just pull out Loom and do a screen recording of yourself editing and then be telling the person, this is what I like. This is why I'm doing this. This is what my vision is for the end result. And if you send it to them and then they send you their first draft, and then you again send them another Loom video going, oh, I really love what you did here. At this part right here, could you add some more stuff on screen? Could you put like a sound effect? I like sound effects where it's like the ding, 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 we have a winner, or the wah, 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 wah. So just throw something in there like that to be funny and to keep their attention a little bit more and make it more interesting. And, if you're spending $100 a month on an editor, that'll be the best $100 you ever spend in your whole life.
Yeah, it buys you back time. It makes it easier so you don't have to learn it. I have a friend of mine who built a website, was not a website builder, and was creating a company. He spent more time building the website than he did on the business. And I'm like, you need to just get someone else to do it. And he's like, I should have just hired someone to do it. And I said, right. It's the same with video editing. If you're not going to be fully committed to jump in and do it, hire someone to do it and then do what you do best, which is sell houses and create content. So one of the things I find that again, and where agents struggle with video is promoting it, because they do this, they spend the time, they spend the money, they get it all done, they have this perfectly polished video, they put it on YouTube or they put it on their social media, and then nothing happens. Or they go, what the heck? I took all this time. What are you doing, if anything, to promote your videos and to take it to the next level?
Well, I actually do very little on social media
Okay.
for that exact reason. When you make a video and you put it on Facebook, 3 days from now, you'll never see it again
Yeah.
unless you're paying to advertise it. And I'm just a cheapskate. I don't want to pay to boost every single video that I put out there.
Yeah.
And people are not going to Facebook to look for information on moving and
Right.
real estate and hiring an agent. They are looking on Google, and Google owns YouTube. So
Yeah.
that means they're looking on YouTube too. And in fact, I've heard it twice now in the past couple of weeks, where we used to say, I Googled moving to Savannah. Now they're saying I YouTubed
Yep.
moving to Savannah. They're using YouTube as a verb.
Yep.
So they are looking on YouTube. So they type in moving to Savannah. The very first video they see is my moving to Savannah video. And they go, aha, that's exactly what I was looking for. So I don't do any promotion. I just put the video on YouTube and I try to give it the best title and the best looking thumbnail and make the most interesting video that I possibly can. And the YouTube algorithm does the rest. Like, I don't spend any money promoting these videos.
Awesome.
And we've got about 10,000 subscribers now. We're
Wow.
getting about 30,000 views a month
That's
organically. Now, this took 4 years. I
Yep.
started doing this in June of 2017. But if you're getting 30,000 views a month, like I got 4 leads today and it's 4:45 p.m.
Yeah.
So 4 leads from people that said, "Oh my God, I can't even believe you answered the phone." Like, I don't know who I thought I was going to talk to when I called you, but I'm surprised that it's you because you must be so busy. And she acts like I'm doing her a giant favor by taking her phone call and saying, yes, yes, I will represent you when you decide to buy a house here.
Yeah.
It's really funny. So if you use YouTube the way that it's meant to be used, which is people are not going there to watch commercials.
Yeah.
They're going there to learn something.
Exactly.
Give them more educational content that's also entertaining, and you'll totally win.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to what you said, is that it's that consistency in doing it over time. The more you do that, and then you go back and checking out what worked, what didn't work, and tweaking it, you'll then build a machine that self funds
Yes.
itself or self builds itself. I think if you do one video and you go, "Oh, I didn't get the views I wanted, so I'm not going to do videos," like you're destined to fail. You're
Yes.
not going to put out a hit where you put out one video and it goes viral. And I think a lot of agents think they're going to create videos for the sake of going viral, and I think there's more value in creating good content consistently than trying to get one video to go viral.
I mean, what is the goal? Is the goal for you to go viral and become famous on YouTube and make a boatload of money from ads? Then, okay, great. But how do you make a video go viral? There's no real recipe for that, right? But if your goal is to grow your local real estate business, there absolutely is a recipe for that. And it is make consistent content every single week, try to get a little bit better with every single video that you make, review what's working and what's not working, and do less of what's not working and more of what is.
Yep.
And don't expect that it happens overnight, because it doesn't. It's the same way, like if you decided, I'm going to start playing football, are you going to win a Heisman Trophy next week? No, you have to practice a lot for a very long time before you even start to get good at what you're doing, let alone you start to get recognized by other people. So if you have realistic expectations of, I'm going to do this, and just say, like, I'm going to give it a year. I'm going to give it a year with no expectations. You'll be amazed at what happens.
And I find in my experience has been that year mark is literally like where that hockey stick curve goes up, because I'm Canadian, we talk about hockey. That year mark is where things really start to take off, and people give up way before then. It's usually, I find 3 to 6 months in, they give up. And once you hit that 1 year mark, it's like the YouTube gods in line come out of the clouds and go, okay, you're blessed. And all of a sudden things start taking off. So you have to have that consistency, and you have to be doing it regularly. And when you do it, it really starts taking off. But you have to be in it for the long run. You can't do videos for a couple weeks and go, I'll try it. It's like you said, it's commit and see what happens. I think also you also get better from a presentation standpoint.
Totally.
You get better
I
at being more
mean,
comfortable. And
the more you do it, the more at ease you feel on camera. And then it's not so hard, because now you're like, I could sit down and bang out 3 videos with my eyes closed, and it's so much less pressure and it's easier. And yet the end result is better. So, yep, that only comes from sheer repetition.
I think another benefit of video as well is not just attracting new people, it's then providing value to people that are already in your pipeline. So you've got someone comes in, they haven't seen your videos, and they ask a question. Now you can shoot them quick emails. Say, hey, I actually made a video about that already, and you can shoot them off. It now solidifies you as that expert, as the person who knows what they're talking about, and it positions you to build more trust with them, which is a win-win.
Absolutely.
So to the point of building trust, I was going to ask you about local businesses. Do you do anything with videos in local businesses? Because I know there's a lot of agents who've crushed it with that. Have you done anything with that, or is it more about the content?
I do not. I do not, just because, like, if I'm going to go around interviewing the owner of the restaurant and whatnot, I feel like the people that watch that video are people that are hungry and are looking for a place to go get dinner. They're not saying, hello, I'd like to sell my house and I'd like to hire you. So it's great for becoming the digital mayor, but that's not really my goal. My goal is to get a paying client. So I don't, like, 90% of the content on our channel is real estate related.
Good. Okay. And then my last question is, how do you get them to take that next step? Because I find a lot of agents will make the video and then they just give them the information and they're afraid to ask that because they're afraid to be the salesperson.
Right.
What are you saying or doing to get people to put their hands up or to connect with you?
Okay, so there is a call to action on every single video, but it is not, here's my phone number, please call me. I usually say, watch another video, because if they get to the final 20 seconds of your video and another video shows up on screen right next to your head and you say, so now you know why Hamilton is so awesome, but have you seen this video about whatever? You should click on this one next. And they do, it does two things. They get more FaceTime with you. So now they're feeling like they know you even more, but it also tells the YouTube algorithm that people really liked your content. They watched it all the way to the end, and then they clicked and they watched another video.
Awesome.
So now YouTube goes, oh, this viewer really likes Ryan's content. I'm going to show more of his videos to this person going forward. So they get off YouTube, they go have dinner, they go to work, they do whatever, they come back the next day and boom, they see more of your videos on their news feed, on their homepage. And if they click on it again, YouTube's like, score, this person loves his content. We're just going to keep showing it to them more and more and more.
That's
so
awesome.
Then that when they're finally ready to actually do something, you are the natural person that they call, because every time they log onto YouTube, they see your videos and they're like, holy crap, this guy is everywhere. Like he must be so amazing. All he does is make videos. They don't know that it's just the YouTube algorithm keeps showing them more of your stuff because they've been interacting with it, but that's okay. We don't need to tell them. They just think that you're amazing because you've been making all this content, and then that works really well. So I do that. I'd say 75% of the time. 25% of the time it is, I have this awesome free resource for you. Go to my website and download it. So once they go to my website and they download it, they immediately go into my CRM so we can start following up with them. And then we also know, like, okay, are they a buyer or are they a seller based on what they downloaded? If they downloaded a relocation guide, I know they're moving to Savannah. If they downloaded some guide about like 7 tips to selling your home for over asking price, okay, now I know they're a listing lead. So we can follow up with them accordingly based on what they've expressed their interest in. And if you use, so like, I love all this geeky technology stuff. I make a landing page of download your free resource. And the only place that I share the link to that landing page is on the YouTube video. So now when I see that 20 people have downloaded it, I know that every single one of those people came from this particular YouTube video and I can track it. So people that say, oh, I get business from social media, but I can't really track it. I'm like, well, I can, because that's how I do it. I send them to a specific page and I know that the only place that traffic came from was this exact video. Then I can totally track it.
That's invaluable. And when you learn those tricks, it then makes it worthwhile to, or it helps you keep you committed to doing the videos. When you can start seeing that, it's like, okay, this video or these videos are driving traffic here. Okay, I'm going to do more of this, or I'm going to do more of that because that works well. And then it makes it easier to, and I think it almost gamifies it where you can then go, how do I make more of that? How do I create more content that works and makes it more fun?
Yeah. So, the first video of mine that really took off was called Moving to Savannah. So I thought, okay, how can I make more of that? So the next one was living in Savannah, what I love and what I hate. And then the next one was how much does it cost to live in Savannah? So you're just thinking, how can I one up myself and make more of the videos that are all pretty much saying the same thing, but with a slightly different spin. And all of, like, if you look at the top 10 videos on my channel, those are 9 of them.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And it will consistently work. And there's a reason why. There's psychology behind there, and it works. So if you were to give our viewers one last piece of advice, what would you suggest?
You will never regret making video if you do it and you're consistent about it. Like anybody that's getting leads from making videos doesn't say, man, I really hate this. Like the best quality leads I've ever gotten in 15 years have all been from people that watched my videos. They were not from buying leads from Zillow. They were not from Facebook ads. They were not from, like, I'm kind of an introvert. I don't know if you would think that by looking at me, but I don't go to networking events. Like I'm the person that stands in the corner and waits for people to approach me first. I don't go and like pass out my business card to 100 people. And like, that's kind of off the table now anyway. So I was not sad that, oh, too bad I can't go to BNI meetings anymore. The video is just, it's an awesome vehicle for somebody that considers themselves to be an introvert, because I'm at home recording videos and no one else is here. Like I'm all by myself. It doesn't get more introverted than that. And it works so effectively with $0 out of pocket. Like all you need is your phone or maybe your webcam. Sit in front of a window. You don't have to have fancy equipment. It doesn't cost you any money to upload a video to YouTube. Like it is just the best thing ever. I'm kicking myself that I didn't start years earlier, quite frankly.
And you did, and that's the important thing. And I always tell people, it's like, just start, just get there, because you don't want to be doing that and don't want to be 5 years from now going, I should have done it.
Oh, I should have done it. Yes.
You will kick yourself if you did it, you started, and that's the important thing. So one of the sections we have is segments is a best book. So what's one book that you would recommend that's either changed your life or you think would make an impact on our viewers?
There are so many, and that's such a hard question. But I think the one that I really, really like the best is called The Click Technique by Lindsay Anderson. She has a digital marketing agency that helps local business owners. And she had a client, I think he was a chiropractor, that was in her same office building. And so he hired her to like drive traffic to his website. And he kept saying, it's not working. It's not working. Like, why is nobody coming? And she's like, all it takes is one click, just one click on your website, and now we can remarket to them later. And she wrote this whole book about the concept of how do you drive traffic to your website, because you can't collect leads on YouTube, but you can drive them to your website and collect it there. And by implementing that strategy, that was a game changer for me.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll have to check it out myself. I haven't heard it, but that's
great.
I always love good marketing books, so that's awesome.
Yeah, me too.
So how can our viewers check out what you're up to? Because you run an awesome group and you've got some cool programs. So what can they do to find out what you're up to, and where can they find you?
Awesome. Yeah. My group is called YouTube for Real Estate Agents on Facebook. There are, 12,000 people in there now of real estate agents who want to start doing video on YouTube specifically. So feel free to join that. My YouTube channel, I've got two. The one for people moving to my area is called Georgia Coast Homes. And the one for agents, like teaching agents how to do video, is called Karin Carr. So just youtube.com/Karin Carr.
We'll put that in the notes so people can check that out.
Great.
Thank you for being on here. It's great to share your information and really dive into it. Because again, I find video is something that agents are terrified of. And the more I talk to agents, like the more I keep telling them they need to be doing video. And I just think if we can get convert one person to doing just video, that'll be a good thing. So thank you for your passion and for our industry and sharing your knowledge, because it's awesome to see other people getting others to do video.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Thanks for checking out today's episode. If you'd like more videos like this, be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check out our Facebook page and our other social media channels. Looking forward to bringing you more great content like this, and happy farming.